Today we're making some changes around here and up here because I'm moving my whole set around and I'm chopping all my hair off. Let's get undone. Gerald Undone. He's crazy. What's happening, everybody? I'm Gerald Undone, and this is why we can't have nice things. So it's December 4th and it's my birthday. I turned 34 today, and that's important because that means I've been growing my hair out for exactly 2 years, which was the challenge I gave myself 2 birthdays ago. So I succeeded in the challenge, but it's time for the hair to go. Not because it doesn't look good, but because it's inefficient. And this channel often promotes function over form, so it's moderately paradoxical to have something growing on my head that undermines that philosophy. Essentially, I'd rather spend more time making videos than fussing with my hair. But before I go get my hair cut, I want to show you the changes I'm making around the studio, and for that, I'm going to use my new birthday present to myself, the Sony a6600. Now prepare yourselves because I'm going to attempt to vlog, but I'm not very good at it. First up though, I'd like to show you the things that I dislike about the way it's currently configured. So this is a tight space, and I've got curtains on either side of me because I'm actually in the middle of a room, and I have my camera on a shelf on that wall to give me more space because this shot isn't actually that deep. And although this shelf idea works, it's actually pretty tedious at times to set up because you can't access the back of the camera and you can't make the fine movements that you would be able to with a tripod. The other problem is I can't really get any decent second angles in here because of this wall. I have to go completely off to one side in order to put the camera sort of like shooting me in profile, or I can put it over my shoulder, which works, but it's not ideal. There's also no space to do any standing shots or large product demos unless I use my workbench on the back wall, but then again we're back to the limited angles thing because I'm shooting against a wall. So to fix these issues, I decided to open up the space and shoot lengthwise instead. But to do that, first I had to redo the wall to my right to make it appropriate as a backdrop. And it's also time I get rid of these curtains because they won't be needed anymore, and I'm happy about that since I no longer have to worry about these grommets and paracords showing up in the shot, which I never thought looked very good. So now as you can see, the wall is a glorious purple color. What? Oh, right, I forgot to mention, this video is sponsored by Storyblocks. Storyblocks has an impressive collection of stock footage covering a wide range of subjects with unlimited downloads and 4K video. They're also amply supplied with backgrounds, overlays, and After Effects templates as well. The interface is easy to use and navigate, and the clips are royalty-free for both personal and commercial use, so you can use them as much as you want, wherever you want. So if you think you could take advantage of a fantastic library of quality stock footage and effects, check out Storyblocks using the link in the description below. There, we've satisfied the sponsorship overlords, so the wall is back to its vast purple self. I've still got my DIY base traps in the corner, and I'm going to add some warm lights to throw some color on the wall, but also act as a little set dressing. I'm just picking those out now. I'll also have to test the sound and see if I need more treatment in here now that there's a giant reflective surface that used to be more filled. But I have added curtains on the left and the right to still provide working confines to my studio and control light spilled from other rooms. This new shot is also going to involve the same walnut table I've been using, but I'm going to move it over here so I can shoot into the wall and either stand behind it or sit on a stool. And now I have enough space to put multiple camera angles and lights and an overhead rig without the limitations I had before. Now I'm still going to leave the shelves and these other components here on this wall so I can still recreate that shot if I want to. I would just set a camera up over here, but the current camera configuration is going because, like I said, I don't want to have it on the wall anymore. And the table is much easier to move now. I used to have to lift it and it's really heavy, but now I've put it on wheels, which I actually filmed the process of. Check it out. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to do with this studio rebuild was get this table on casters so I can wheel it back and forth to make it easy to change angles. And I think I came up with a way that's pretty decent way to do that. So you can see this one here is already finished. And it's pretty minimal. There's not a lot of like wood added on or anything. I didn't even need to epoxy anything. And what I did is I found these, these things designed for table legs, and you can actually just pop the metal part off like that. And then you can take this and jam it into this is 1-inch black steel pipe. You can jam it in there, hammer it down, which is what I'm going to do. And then you saw off the excess. and you know, this much gets sawed off, and then this is jammed in there. You drill a hole, and then you can take the casters with these threads and just thread it in there and tighten it down pretty good, and it's really, really solid. So that's what we're gonna do now. And speaking of black pipe DIY, I also made this pretty rad stand rack over in the unoccupied corner. All right, so the next thing that I'm working on is a rack for my stands, like C-stands, light stands, and tripods and stuff like that, and it's gonna be right here on the wall. So first of all, I've got this wood here because I need to cover up, there's baseboard radiators underneath there, which you can see here. So I want something more stable, more level, and also, you know, up and clear of the radiator. So that's what these two pieces of wood for. They're gonna cover all the way along. This one's shorter, so it can butt up against this. I'm going to screw those together with these L brackets, so I'll put them like this, but on the inside, and then I'll use the other two to attach it to the wall, so that you keep it nice and secure. And then I'm going to use black pipe to make like a rack, and I already have some finished ones, so I can show you. So I'm going to build another one of these, and this is going to go here on the wall at two different heights, so like one here and one up there, and it's going to be like just section it off so everything's not sliding together. Now when it comes to black pipe, a couple tips about that. I bought this stuff at Home Depot. This is 1/2-inch black steel pipe. And what I like to do is I like to wash mine for two reasons. One, because they put stickers on them with the label, and it's that kind of gooey stuff that doesn't come off, so that's annoying. You don't want stickers all over your, you know, your furniture, if you will. And so I wash them, but the problem is when you wash them and then you leave them, they do get rusty because they're not really treated for exterior stuff. So I don't know if I have one to show you, but basically they get this like orange, yeah, you can see some here a little bit. There's like orange rust all over them. So after you wash them, it's good if you use a little like WD-40 on a rag, and then you can just, you know, wipe the rust off if it's important to you. But when you do this, when you wash them and then WD-40 them and then sort of clean them, you get this kind of nicer result where it looks almost like a, kind of like a faded, I don't know, carbon charcoal kind of gray look color. And it's more uniform that way too, and I think it's nicer than some of the ones that I've seen online when people build their own black pipe stuff. Now, in order to accommodate the space needed for the lights and camera, I need to get my computer out of here. So it's going to go over to its new home on the far wall on this brand new desk from Autonomous. This is their Smart Desk 2, which is not only awesome, but quite affordable. It's a fully automated sit-stand desk with surprisingly robust parts and rugged design. Based on the process of building it and using it, I would have expected it to cost $1,000 to $1,500, but it's only like 300 something depending on the options that you choose. So I'm really impressed with it so far, and this white oak top is very nice. I was half tempted to not even use it as a desk, but instead use it as an adjustable product photography table, but I don't have enough space in here to devote entire tables to that purpose. Anyway, so I'm going to be moving my entire setup over there to here, and I'll make a new video on that, sort of a desk tour, so that you guys can finally get that updated workstation gear list that you've been asking about, including the new monitors that I've been using lately. So expect to see that in the next few days. And you'll also notice that above the desk I've installed a shelf using that same purple to tie the studio together. Alright, so now I'm off to get my hair cut, and when I get back I'll show you how the new shot looks all set up. Okay, so here we go. This is the new shot. Everything's set up. Obviously, I might make some tweaks as we go. This is the first time setting it up, but I'm just gonna go over and show you all the gear. So right now, the main shot that you're seeing me on is this one here, and it is the Blackmagic Pocket 4K. And there's that teleprompter that you guys have been asking me about in front. It's the Padcaster Parrot. Yeah, and it comes with this remote in the package, as well as some step-up rings to mount it onto your lens. The thing that's displaying the text is just a phone. I just got a cheap phone on Amazon for like $100, and it uses the app that's made by the same company. It's like the Padcaster Parrot app. So that app you just load your text files into, and then it plays them as a script. And you can adjust it using the remote. You can go up and down, or play it and pause it just from here. And this is connected via Bluetooth to your phone. So I haven't used it that much, only maybe 5-6 times. That's why I haven't really made like a review about it. I'm probably not gonna make a review about it, but you guys have been asking me about it. So that's what it is. It's pretty good. Anyway, that's the Blackmagic Pocket 4K. The Sigma 18-35 is on there with the Metabones Ultra 0.71 speed booster. Then over here for this shot, that is the Sony a7 III, and there's a Tamron 28-75 on there, and that's being recorded onto an Atomos Ninja 5. And then up here is the Sony a6600 that I just got, and on there is the Sigma 30mm lens. So we're going to be getting a crop factor equivalent to about 45mm focal length, which is pretty good, I think, for the overhead shot. This is the Sigma 16mm. I got this lens, that lens, and the body all from Camera Canada for a good deal. Like I said, it's part of my birthday present or whatever. And I'm happy with that. So I can use a 16mm as kind of like a vlogging lens. It'll give me about a 24mm equivalent. And I think it'd be really good because the autofocus on this thing is insane. I found that when I was like, I didn't have to calculate the depth of field. I'm using autofocus on that because if I'm talking about this object, so say I'm showing you guys this remote, it just stays in focus. And if I lift it up higher or bring it down lower, and then if I set it down and say I want to talk about something else, I can keep everything in focus all the way without having to find like a super deep depth of field to make this shot work. So I'm really happy about that. I also, the Tamron 28-75, I should mention that I borrowed that from Camera Canada as well. So thanks to Camera Canada for hooking me up with some of this stuff I bought and stuff I borrowed. Microphone-wise, I'm still using the Samson CO2. I haven't really heard how it sounds in here yet, but I think it's going to work. The audio is not too bad. I am hearing a bit more reverberance than before, but I've treated this wall pretty heavily now because that was where my desk and everything was before. So I put up a bunch of panels, got the guitar and the keyboard there, and then there's panels going up and around. And then this side's really busy with, you know, there's panels, lots of stuff there, so it should be okay. It's not too reflective over there. That's the same shot as before. And then over in the corner there, there's those shelves. There's my new, you know, editing setup. And I put some treatment up there, just acoustic foam. It's not that great, but obviously the wall behind me is the most reflective. Still got those bass traps in the corner that I was talking about. And there's the Aperture 120D with the Light Dome Mini. This is an Aperture 300D with the regular size Light Dome. These are the curtains that I was talking about that now instead of running curtains this way, I'm running them just along here just to block the doorway. And I think they're nice. We've got that same GVM RGB light, putting a little warm light on the wall, and then I've got another curtain over here like I was talking about. So I think that the audio, sorry if this is a little obnoxious, but it's not completely dead in here. It is a little bit lively, but it's not bad considering I have a giant reflective wall and I'm talking into the sort of deadened part of the room. So we'll see how it sounds, but I think it'll work out. I know I've been testing other mics and I keep going back to the Samson. I have some more mics coming my way that might replace this one. I'll let you know, be future videos on that. And I have this light behind me, which I think looks nice. Let me show you what that looks like. So if I turn off the main light here, it's giving me a little bit of fill on the objects over here so they don't have a completely dark side, because often with, you know, black objects like the lens and stuff like that, they can kind of get lost in the shadows. So it's going to fill in a little bit of that. Plus it's giving me a nice rim, as you can see, to separate me from the background on this side. This side I don't need it as much because of the color that's over there. And then when I throw the main light on, then it washes out a bit of that color, so it's nicer blended together and just kind of fills the whole thing in. So I think it looks really nice. I don't have a hair light anymore up above because I don't need it. I took that down from the ceiling. And this is the shot, and I'm happy with it. But I'm excited for this new phase of the channel because we're going to be going into 2020 with a new set, a new haircut, and likely 100,000 subscribers. Oh, and I've got a new series I'm going to be announcing soon that I think you're really going to like, that's going to feature a lot of your other favorite photo video YouTubers. So I'm really pumped about all this. Thanks so much for the continued support and for coming along with me on the ride. Now let's go make some videos. Oh, one more thing. I actually got sort of another late birthday present from a shoe company. You can do a little bit of a Jacques Slade video here. What does he always do? He's always like, yo, yo, yo. What's poppin'? I don't know. Anyway, this is not sponsored. I paid to have these made myself, but I got some custom MTE Vans in that I was pretty pumped about. Check these out. New birthday shoes. So they're gray. You got your white Balance gray in there. And I'm not actually wearing my bracelet or my watch. So you always forget something. Anytime you shoot a video, you always forget something. Anyway, so they got that gray color. Also got a little bit of a, it's called like a plum. It's kind of like a purple, but a nice, rich color there. And these are MTE, so they're like winterized for Canadian winters. They're Scotch guarded, so like water and snow just comes right off of them, and they're a little bit more thermal lined. So pretty exciting. I'm not much of a shoe reviewer. I just thought you guys would think these are pretty cool because, I'm into like gray and purple. So the official Gerald Undone shoes for the harsh Canadian winters with the white balanced gray and the snazzy purple accents. What's poppin', Jack? But that's going to be it for me. I hope you found this video entertaining, or at least helpful. And if you did, make sure you leave it the old thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't already. But if you did not find this video helpful or entertaining, then you probably need to watch it again. Alright, I'm done.